Hey guys, I'm the math professor, Kyle Martin. In this video, we're talking all about factoring and more specifically how to factor out a GCF. So in this video, you're gonna learn what a factor is. You're gonna have 4 examples of how to factor out a GCF. And then lastly, remember there are timestamps in the video player down below. That's the little bar, the little red bar that you click on. If you move that, try it right now. If you move it, you're gonna see some of these different chapters. You'll see the examples. You'll see what a factor is and so on. So you can jump to whatever part you need. Let's get into it. All right, so what is a factor? A factor, the definition we're going to use for this video is that it's a number and or a variable, could be both, that each term in an expression or an equation has in common. Okay, so for example, I gave you this expression. This isn't an equation, there's no equal sign here. This expression is 3x squared y minus 6xy plus 12y squared. So we need to figure out the biggest number and the biggest letter. Sometimes there's, only one, either just a number or just a letter. Sometimes there's both, that we can take out of this. And by take out, I mean that we can divide each of those by and do it evenly, okay? So for example, is there a 3 that I could take out of each of those? Yes. Is that the biggest number? Well, yeah, because this is 3 itself. So I can at least divide each of these by 3. So let's do that. And then is there a letter or a variable, right? A variable that each of these has in common? Do they all have an x? Here's an x, here's an x. There's no x there, so x isn't going to work. Do they all have a y? Here's a y, y, y. Yes, they all have at least one y. These two both have 1. This one is y squared, so there's like 2 there, y times y. So I can take out a y from each of these as well. So you could say that we can factor out a 3y because I'm able to divide each term in that expression by 3y. Okay, so our first couple examples here. Our first one's the exact same I had on the definition page. Remember, we were able to divide each of these by 3y. Okay, so what do I do once I divide? What can I do with that? Well, remember, we're trying to factor that out, meaning that I'm going to take my original, I'm going to call it what's in the parentheses here, and factor out a 3y. So then I have to actually do the division, okay? So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So you could put a 1 there if you want, but you won't have to. I'll show you why in a second. X squared is not being divided by any x's, so you just leave that as x squared. And then y divided by y is going to cancel, okay? So again, 1x squared, that's just the same as x squared. We don't really need that 1. Okay, what about the next term? Negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2. X, again, isn't being divided by any x's, so we'll have an x here. And again, y divided by y cancels, so just left with a negative 2x. On the next one, 12 divided by 3 is 4, a positive 4, and y squared divided by y is just 1y. Just 1y. I can prove that to you really quick. Y squared is the same as y times y. So that's being divided by y. One of those y's cancels, and we're left with 1 on top, okay? And usually, this is how your teachers will want you to write your answer, where you factor this out, and you have your remaining part left over. Okay, what about number 2? Number 2 says x squared plus 8x. So what do these have in common? Well, there's no numbers over here, so all I have to take out is just an x. They both have an x. So I can divide each by x, and what I have is I'm going to put that division, the divisor, out here, and left over I'm going to have x. 8x divided by x, again, those cancel, just plus 8, and this is your answer for number 2. Let's try another one. All right, next one says 2n squared minus 10n. So if I look at both these, they're both even. So I know I can at least take out a 2. And since 2 is my smallest number, that's the largest thing I can take out of those. All right, so I'm going to take out a 2 from both. Then they also both have n's. And this one only has one n, so I can take out 2n. You know, write that outside of parentheses and do the division now. 2n squared divided by 2n. The 2's cancel. One of the n's cancels, so you're just left with n on top. And over here, negative 10 divided by 2 is 5, negative 5. Again, the n's cancel, so you're just left with 2n times the quantity n minus 5. All right, last example, 6y squared plus 18y. Again, I can take out, it looks like maybe 6 is the largest thing that goes into both of those numbers. You want to take out the biggest one. Like I can take out a 3, but that's not going to help me because I would have to take out more after that. So I want to take out the largest one, which in this case is a 6. And then again, these both have y's, so I can take out 6y from each. And left over, the 6's cancel. Y squared divided by y is y. 18 divided by 6 is 3, a positive 3. The y's cancel, So 6y times the quantity y plus 3 is your answer. All right, guys, I hope this video on factoring out a GCF helped you. If it did, please consider helping me out by subscribing to this channel, liking this video, and maybe even leaving a comment. All right, we'll see you in the next one.